Hey everybody, it's Cinnamon Cooney and I'm your Art Sherpa. Welcome to the live Mama Bird fully guided painting tutorial here on YouTube. If you're coming on the replay, hi, how are you? I hope we can catch you live sometime. This is a fully guided painting, which basically means I do a thing and explain it, and then you do that thing, and then I do a thing, you do a thing, I do a thing, you do a thing, and at the end we all have a painting, which is kind of fun. I'm sort of excited about today with this Mama Bird lesson. On the other mic, making all these cameras track me like bloodhounds, is my sweet husband John.
How you guys doing?
He's also reading comments, so he's the person to be like, hey, John, I have a question.
I'm trying to read comments.
He tries to read comments.
I also have to push buttons.
I have to give a shout out to May from May Made It and Melody Lane, because they had me on this Crafty Life Live. And one of the things that I got to do besides a really cool giveaway was demo a quick painting. And this was the demo painting, and then you guys decided if we were going to have what kind of bird family we're going to put. So it was a mama and baby bird one. And so that's what we're doing today. And I'm excited about this painting as it's going to be a very simple paint, but I'm going to take advantage of that and get really detailed in explaining things like branches and how we talk about trees in painting, and maybe even a little more conversation about how we make these nice gradated skies. So it's going to be super simple, really great for a first-time painter, but for you guys who've been here a few times, there's going to be little nuggets in there for you too.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, because we like to leave the little gems. The gems. I got my bird hat on today.
You do?
I do.
Birds hiding everywhere.
We're painting acrylic paint. That's good information if you're new. That's what we're painting. I'm painting pro paint, but this will work with any acrylic paint.
Yeah.
Because acrylic paint kind of functions similar. You're going to need water and brushes for acrylic painting. I like brushes with Teflon fibers. And I like my brushes. Here's a brush tip, and I'm going to give it in detail on the Art Quest. But my brush tip is a good acrylic brush would make a terrible makeup brush. So it needs to be just a little uncomfortable. You'd be like, I would not want to put blush on with that.
Right.
Because the softer the brush is, then you got to get into soft body paints for blending and stuff. But when it's really a bananas great acrylic brush, you're like, oh, not a good makeup brush. Slightly stiff flick on the bristles. Picks up the paint.
Gotcha. Okay.
Is what it does. So when they're really soft, they soak up too much water and they mess with your whole painting experience. That's what's happening there. So I just thought I'd share that because that's been...
No, that's good, because I've got another question that I'm saving here that Maria asked about water and background colors and stuff, and we'll get to that when you get back in there.
Now I'm going to put my little birds over here, because we all know what we're painting now. These birds.
Which birds?
Those birds.
Those birds?
Those birds.
We're painting those birds.
But I'm going to do it on a 16 by 20 pre-gessoed canvas.
You are.
So you get these packs at Michael's or Hobby Lobby or your local art store, and it says pre-gessoed. And then you wonder, do I need to gesso it again? If it's a very inexpensive canvas, what can happen is it can be a little harder to paint the surfaces. The coatings are less reliable. And an extra coat of gesso can make your experience a little more pleasant. But say if it's a beautiful Frederick's Gallery Rep canvas, probably you're really good.
Yeah.
Because Frederick's takes its coating seriously. They're not a sponsor or anything. I just think they're a really good canvas company and painted on it my whole life.
Well, so Lindsay just came in and was like, hey, party people.
Hey, Lindsay. How you doing? I hope you guys saw her live yesterday. If you didn't, it was this really gorgeous watercolor. John was on a Skype meeting, so I had to have everything quiet in the room. I couldn't even type because my nails are clacky. So I'm not even allowed to type. But I have to say I was so in love with the chat that was happening in her live. It was so loving. It was so supportive. It was so upbeat. I feel so bad that John has taken my chat feed away, and then all of us painters don't get to see the chats because you guys are incredible, much more my favorite than any of the other live communities I'm seeing on YouTube. So nice.
Yeah, there really is a lot of love happening out here in the room. And
so I know I'm excited about this today. One of the things that we like to do is wishes.
Wishes, yes.
Wishes. I like to put wishes in my canvas. I'm actually getting ready for an art show. Well, I'm getting ready to be juried. which is not the same as being in an art show. It's pretty much probably not being in an art show. I wish I get in the art show. And I actually put those wishes on the canvas, so it's like something I really do.
Well,
I'll be like, I wish the juror likes my art. I don't know how effective it is, but I feel a little better when I drop my babies off to be like judged. Sorry.
Yeah. No, it's
Tangent.
very good. I think it's good too.
So we have a couple wishes queued up, and if you
Yes.
guys have some wishes.
Oh yeah. So do you want me to start here?
Yeah, I sent a couple to you in messages. I'm actually going to put that in there. I wish my paintings get in the jury show.
And our,
I hope this juror likes me. You guys send me good vibes.
and we also have a wish from McKaylee
McKaylee.
to have kind and loving people in her life who celebrate her every day.
Kind. Yeah, I wish for that. McKaylee is a really good artist.
Mm-hmm. We have a wish for Sky.
Sky, our Sky.
We wish for her body to rally and for health to return to her in waves.
And her health to return to her. If they ever x-ray these canvases in the future, they're going to be like, what the heck was going on? I use watercolor pencils to put my wishes in. I get these Artist Loft pencils at Michael's for very inexpensive. You could use kids chalk. If you use a pen or graphite pencil, it's gonna seepage up and discolor your paint.
We're gonna send some well wishes to Jason, and to and love and warm wishes to Rhea as well.
I'm going to send some wishes to Marita because I'm missing her. And I see Marita someday.
I'm going back up here. I want to make sure that I got I got Rhea's wish in there.
Okay. I got some canvas space, so it's okay.
Oh yeah, no. They're
I highly encourage you to do this at home, to put these on your canvases. Again, not in graphite pencil so they seep through. But definitely put that in. It's a really good act of just being open to the possibilities, which is kind of intrinsically part of the artist's journey.
Yeah, it's the wishes for Rhea and Rhea's son, I believe. We just want to make sure we got those in the canvas.
Yeah, I have Jason. Sent love to Jason and Rhea.
And then we have some wish for sanity.
Oh, don't we
and
all wish that?
I think that there's all levels of sanity.
Yeah.
We have Ashley's feeling a little overwhelmed by homeschool days and having some frustration. So
Is Ashley a little brush or is Ashley a mom?
I'm wish to keep my sanity on the homeschool days where the frustration levels build and I feel overwhelmed. So that sounds like a mom.
That's a mom. Love and strength to the moms. That's hard to homeschool. You homeschool moms, you are my heroes. You guys are strong beyond reason.
Mm-hmm.
That is to take on that mom mantle and then have to add on that teacher mantle. Those are tough. Individually, teacher mantle, really an unbelievable one. Mom mantle, couldn't be up here more. Put them together, wow. I apparently am pitchy. Fix my mic. But you know what I mean? It's really impressive.
There's no mic adjustment that can fix pitching.
YouTube is a fantastic resource for homeschool.
Yes.
It is my favorite resource for homeschool. I'm going to put out my colors, John.
Mm-hmm.
You ready? So I've got some cadmium yellow medium.
Can we get one more wish in there for a moment?
Oh,
I just
yes.
saw a wish for my son. His OCD is getting bad.
Okay. All right. What other wish? So for him, because OCD, it's God, that's a tough one for relief from his OCD.
Yeah.
Just surround him with love and light and comfort.
And, you know, I appreciate, gosh, thank you guys for all of the wishes. And I'm sorry that if I miss any of them and I can't get to them, it's just so hard to scroll up and down through the chat channel.
And if you see wishes that we missed that you think you need to go in the universe, you can add them to your canvas.
Yeah, please put them on your canvas.
Yeah. And remember, wishes don't have to be serious. They can be serious or very lighthearted.
Mm-hmm.
It can be like, I wish that mockingjay would be quieter in the morning. That's an okay wish.
So what are you putting out there?
I am going to put out Cad Yellow Medium and Cad Red Medium and Titanium White.
And you're using golden?
I am using the last of my golden.
You're just squeezing it out.
I am. I don't love the metal things. And the crimpers have not been reliable lately. There's this really cool crimper that will crimp up your tube of paint, John.
Yeah.
But like lately, it seems like every crimper I bought like breaks. I don't have a brand I can recommend right now. Which I'm kind of disappointed in.
I see some Liquitex in there too.
Yes. So I'm painting Liquitex and Golden and Matisse.
Yeah.
But, you know, you could paint Artist Loft. You could paint Liquitex Basics. You could paint Soho, which is a brand that I really like. Basically, what you've got is student grade paints, right, which are your economy paints. Now, an area that you can save money if you want to do the pro paints is buy Hue in the Cad Yellow and Hue in the Cad Red, because that will drop the cost. And in all student paste and mid-grade paints, it's always Hue. They only give you real CAD when you get into the big bucks.
Gotcha.
So, but that's why we work our coupons and our sales, because no need to like hurt our pocketbooks. And I am like really crazy about some of the new kits and stuff like this. I'm gonna feature a kit coming up on our next Heart Mail.
Yeah.
That I'm really loving. All right, so I've got my currently favorite Simply Simmons Bright number 10.
Yep.
Daniel Elliott at Jerry's Artarama in Houston knows what this brush is. If you call him directly, he can get it to you. So this background.
This is where we had a question that came in earlier.
Okay.
So when you're painting your backgrounds, Maria, I think, yeah, it was Maria was asking, how do you work with the water to get that mixing, to get the right consistency?
Okay.
Because she's having the trouble that her backgrounds always come out darker than yours. And she's worried about how much water she's using there.
It's probably not your water. It's probably your paint. There's a thing in paint called color shift. And what can happen to a lot of people, this is my guess without seeing your painting, there's a couple other things that can happen. But especially in the craft paints, they will darken 2-3 shades when they dry. So that can be a thing that's happening to you.
So we need to know what kind of paint that she's using to find that out.
That helps us understand what's happening, because paint by paint you can kind of tell. So what I do is I just moisten the brush.
Yeah.
Right? Prime the brush and pull it out. And I'm going to get just a scotch, just a smidge, the smallest amount of Cad Yellow, and I'm bring it over to my white paint.
Okay.
And I'm mixing from the outside here, so I'm not mixing these two together, because that would be incredibly challenging on my paint usage.
So she says she's using Liquitex Basics.
Then it shouldn't be color shift. It could be how she's mixing the pigments, because the water won't make it lighter or darker, except in that if you're using so much water that you're causing a wash and the paint isn't really sticking to the canvas.
Interesting.
Right? So it'd be that you're mixing darker than I am. So, because I'm like, it takes very little of this Cad Yellow to impact this titanium white.
Right.
Very little.
Yeah.
Now I've got this nice little mixture loaded up here on my brush. And I'm going to come up in the upper thirds. And I'm going to have a really good time making circles coming out. Pull a little more white onto my brush. Oh, like it's the color? Okay. Ooh, are you guys having fun at home watching us adjust on the fly? It's very good to have a co-captain who will adjust
when you
your
see
color.
the color's just a little off there, you want to try to pull it up.
Yeah. So I put a little more paint on my brush, and I'm going around. This interior color is quite light. right? And it's radiating out. What I'm trying to do is make sure that my paint is covering the canvas completely. And a little, ooh, too much yellow.
So what consistency are you kind of shooting for here? When you're
Warm
painting?
butter.
Warm
Your
butter.
acrylic paint should be like warm butter. And you're maybe increasing the melt of the butter for spreading. And imagine if you were spreading like an oil and everything on here.
Mm-hmm.
How it would just easily glide and coat the canvas. If you do a soft-bodied paint, you'll have an easier time getting that consistency. Right? Mm-hmm. You'll also have an easier time sometimes with the blend. But soft-bodied paints then are self-leveling, and they don't give you a bunch of the other techniques that you might want in painting, like dry brushing as easily. So it's always like a trade-out. That's something we're going to cover a lot. Now see, like this watercolor pencil is like, I'm not going to lift here.
So,
so
Marty,
you can see the seepage because this color is so light. The cadmium yellows don't always have the pigment coverage that you would like.
Gotcha. They're a little translucent.
Yes, they are.
So Marty had a question here, and I'm not sure if I understand her correctly. It says, so when she adds paint to the canvas, does she put all the paint from the brush to the canvas? So, are you? How much paint is left in your brush when you're going back for it? Is it pretty?
Oh, I'll show how my brush finishes when I go. I never thought to show that. All right, I was about to go. This is where my brush is at when I finish.
Okay. So
I'll show that a couple times so you can see when I'm reaching
turn it
back.
over. Turn it over. So it's you can almost
it's spent.
Yeah.
I'm down to a dry brushing, and I'm adding little scotches of more CAD. I moisten my brush in water. Look, in fine acrylic painting, should we be using a glazing medium or an airbrush medium to control the fluidity of our paint for archival prosperity? Sure, we should. But all acrylic paint is designed to also be thinned with water. Most of the paint companies will spec you how much, right, water you can add. It's generally about 30%. So, if you have the money, go ahead and go bananas. But if you don't be worrying about it. Mm-hmm. So when I have this nice little coating, like I've got a little area right here that maybe didn't coat, I add a little water. Look at that.
Yeah,
increases the fluidity of that paint.
Yeah, you adjust your close-up camera there.
Okay, I'm going to zoom it out a little bit. Whoa, wrong direction. Nausea cam. Okay, so I've got a nice glow beginning to happen, right? Yeah. I'm going to rinse my brush out a little bit because it has white on it.
All right, I'm going to come adjust the camera.
Okay, which one? Okay, I don't know what. I feel like I'm good there, but. Okay, but I'm wrong. Well, I'm a sippy. I got Kahlua coffee today, not with actual Kahlua in it because it's early in the morning. This is just Kahlua K-Cup flavored coffee. Flavor. Not real Kahlua, which would be quite good. Mm-hmm. So I'm going to take just a scotch of my CAD red. This is a technical term. See how I'm just pulling it out from the edge here?
Is it metric?
Yeah, it's totally metric. And I'm going to pull it into my yellow. Add a little bit of water to that to increase fluidity.
Not coffee.
Yeah. And see there, I'm going right to this edge. While it's wet. Just giving myself a nice blend. When I come in the corner, and what you're trying to do is just talk about these radiating bands of heat that are coming out. What's wonderful about this painting is I have a kind of a realistic sun bird painting coming up that this gives you the basic skills to do. And that one's the one that's going to be like impressing your friends. Pulling out a little more CAD here into my yellow. Just getting a brighter orange. Right?
Yep.
And coming right here. And I get this soft, can you guys see this where I come here, and what's wonderful about this brush, it has a stiff enough bristle that when I feather and blend the edge, it gives me a nice blend. That's the part I work with, the seam between the two paints. Right? I'm working that seam. Paint's still wet here, paint's wet here. I work the seam.
Yeah.
And that's how I get that.
While you're showing us how you're doing that, on substituting colors,
Sure.
you know, how, like, when, especially like on some of the other paintings where there's like a turquoise or there's a specific blue, how easy is it to substitute those in and out?
If it's just a field of color, like I've just painted something all turquoise, you can just substitute that with anything you like. It's just a field. Mm-hmm. If it's mixing, it gets more challenging because if you mix ultramarine blue and cad yellow, you're going to get a really different green than if you mix phthalo blue and cad yellow.
Gotcha.
And that's why I'm really excited that we're all going to be doing our color book really soon on Big Art Quest. We're going to do our color chart.
Yep.
So we can see what our paint colors are actually mixing.
Gotcha. So
and then we have a reference chart to be like, I could probably substitute this. Like, Mom called me up today and she's like, how would you mix burnt sienna if you didn't have burnt sienna? And we were talking about all the ways to mix that. And one of my mixes, and let me show you where my paint's at. Putting the brush back.
Oh, yeah.
This is where I'm at. One of my mixes is, believe it or not, phthalo blue and cad red.
Huh.
Yeah. So, but you would never, ever, ever think that unless you'd done a color book.
Gotcha. Yeah, that makes sense.
Or taken like a color theory class. Would you ever think those two things?
I generally don't think in terms of color to begin with. So, I mean, this is all remarkable
to me.
Well, you do.
You just think of it in a different way. You think of it in relationship to cars.
Well, that's true.
Right. I kind of want some here, but maybe I don't. I don't know. I don't know if I do want some there or not. Sometimes you'll do something and I'm like, I'm going to say no.
No?
I'm going to just like lighten that up with some yellow.
The paint says no.
The paint says no. And that'll happen, guys. Paint will say no. Paint will be like, not happening today. And you'll be like, okay, I respect it, paint.
Step off the brush.
It's really rough when the whole painting says no. And you're like, whole painting says no. And that happens to me.
That's what gesso's for.
John comes by on the show, the piece I'm working on for the show. I posted where it's at on Instagram. And he's like, what happened to your horse?
Who murdered your horse?
I'm like, it's in a stage.
It's in the underpainting phase.
It is in an underpainting phase, and I need to get that layer in to get the next layer in. So now I'm getting right into my cad red. Look what happened here.
What happened?
Can you see the spots that I got?
You have to zoom in a little bit. Did you get a little splash there?
Yeah, I am. You can kind of see it.
Yeah, I can kind of see it. There's some.
This
orange.
Can happen to you. What happened to me
Here,
there?
Point those out for me real clearly, because I can see them. Yep, that's them.
Right, my brush got a little wet, and I got a little excited in my flickage.
You overflicked.
I overflicked. So I'm going to get a dry, big, bright. Just put white on it.
Yeah, there's a lot of questions about dry brushing and brush loads. So yeah, we'll probably
I'm
cover
blending
a lot of
these
that,
out with a dry brush.
Okay, so you're dry brushing right now.
I'm dry brushing right now, so I put no moisture on this brush, just a little white paint while these drops are still wet. And look, I feathered them out. You can't even see them anymore. Go close up, Cam. It's gone.
Now, can you real quick go through the process of showing what dry brushing is? Because there's a lot of people here who don't know what dry brushing is.
All right.
So real quick, because over in that corner of the canvas, why don't you show that for people? Because this is a great one to.
All right. So one place I could do this is the only problem with this is, John, it's the white. So I've got a bright here with a fairly stiff bristle. I'm going to go into my white. Okay. So here's what the load looks like without any water.
Okay.
Light pressure. Can we even see that?
Yeah,
It's really hard for the camera. That's what I'm saying. It's super hard for this camera to see this white on this yellow. So not such a good painting for this.
But you're just
technique.
Lightly brushing over that.
Just lightly brushing over it.
And just letting that.
In this case, I chose white because it just radiates the sunlight. Mm-hmm. Right? So it's not such a big deal. But that is about the amount of water you have under your brush. No point in dry brushing on your first layer.
Gotcha.
No point. Need a layer underneath. Dry brushing's whole purpose is to have paint underneath it.
Yeah, you can really show the dry brushing red on that white canvas, though.
Huh?
You could show the red dry brushing on that white canvas.
But I'm not doing any red dry brushing. I'm adding moisture to the paint.
Yep.
Yeah. right? And so there's no place, and I don't have, if I was to do red right here, sure you could see it, but it would ruin the painting. So probably not the lesson for that.
No.
But it is going to be, again, all of this. I mean, always ask during the class, and it also lets us know what to make sure we put in the big art quest.
Uh-huh.
But all of this will be in the big art quest.
Excellent. So we'll go into more mixing and brush techniques.
Oh,
and
yeah.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Because there's a lot of questions about different color combinations being asked right now too.
Yeah, and I think everybody has a lot of questions about that. You'll see artists will have books and books of color charts.
Mm-hmm.
If you watch Lindsay's show, she pulls out her watercolors. She always starts with some color charts. I love that about her. I'm always like, there's Lindsay's color chart. It's there.
Yeah, she has a bunch of videos too.
So many videos.
So
It boggles
many.
my mind. I sometimes try to imagine what Lindsay's life is like.
Wake up, make a video. Eat breakfast, make a video.
Yes.
Eat lunch, make a video.
She's like, the world will have some creativity today. I swear it.
I think she has a video shotgun at home. Just they come out.
You think she has what?
A video shotgun. She just blast videos out.
And she still makes time to like be on her social media and share
and
stuff
covers
and do
all
that
of that.
incredible blog. This is not a Lindsay ad. We're just actually impressed.
Yeah.
When you make these videos, you get impressed with the other creators because you know how hard it is.
Yeah, we struggle to do it 2 to 3 times a week, and we know how impossible our life is.
I try to do daily.
She's
There'd be like hair going everywhere, and I'd be like, "Oh, this is a painting."
she's living the dream.
She's living the dream. So we're a little rambunctious, but there's a lot of different styles of painting out there.
Mm-hmm.
I'd say Lindsay's on the side of bubbly too.
Yes.
Yeah, but there's some very low key people. So listen, if rambunctiousness is exhausting to you, don't feel like you can't paint. Just go searching on YouTube a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
You're going to find somebody that has a style that's very keyed to you.
But do it after this video.
But do it after this video.
Yeah.
Sit here and be annoyed for an hour.
That's right. Give us a thumbs up if you don't mind.
Woo.
So no, we got about like 100. We got 141 people as I glance over right now. It's
Wow.
been hovering right around about 150.
Wow.
So we have a lot of people hanging out. Thank you guys for coming to join us.
This is a good one to do. And again, if you're looking to do a really realistic kind of crazy sunset, my dad used to do a hang glider. You remember, Dad used to hang glide.
Yes.
And he actually took up paragliding at 76. That's my dad, and still does extreme skiing and motorbiking and is living an endless summer. He just took the Beach Boys songs real serious like.
Well, it was a defining life statement.
Yeah, if he hasn't been skiing, he's been hang gliding. If he's not hang gliding, he's riding motorcycles. It's a thing.
Yes.
So that painting, the upcoming painting, is going to be about him, and we're going to have a special guest, which is going to be Ian, the Off-Kilter Crafter, is going to come be brave and paint with us.
Ah. So Lou is asking, when do you think we might get to the color mixing part? What week? Is that
next week?
Next week.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, next week is color mixing.
I think normally I'd be like, let's buy paint, let's buy brushes, and we're going to get to that the weeks after. But I think the number one thing, like I'm thinking about what would help people the most immediately, is knowing what their paint does. You'll have several color mixing sheets in your book, but knowing what your current setup does right now will help you the most. Going to anyone's online lesson, any tutorial, any follow along, it'll help you the most.
Gotcha.
I'm going to put out some Mars Black by Golden.
Mars Black.
Yes. I put out way too much. It's a problem I have.
Well, then everybody can see it.
Everybody can see it. That's why I do it. I'm
They
going to
can
grab
see that Mars on Mars.
my Sharp Bright, which is a Pro Stroke number 4 Power Acrylic by Creative Mark. But if you look at it, it's just under a ½ inch.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm even going to switch my water. Not that, because this is black paint, my dirty water. That was clever.
What'd you do?
I splattered.
Oh, is that what that is?
Yeah, that's what I did. I spilled it. I'm just like you.
It's okay.
Using capillary action to pull the water away from my paint. Science has uses in art.
It does.
So I'm going to talk about this tree branch. Okay? Okay?
Okay.
And talk about this tree branch like you do.
Like you do.
Because we all just do that all the time. Tree branches. You have to pick a location. There's an imaginary tree that's happening over here. And off this wonderful, beautiful, established imaginary tree is a perfectly ready to be perched on branch that's inviting birds in, right? And you're going to paint this out this way. And listen, this doesn't just have to be birds. If you look at my iCard, you're going to see a link to that. You're going to see a link to Silver Creek Studios. And if you go there, she's got cat on a branch. She got owl on a branch. She's got stuff on a branch.
Yeah.
Right? So I'm just showing you this series of techniques. You could literally make a house of paintings. I'm going to say Lindsay probably has a silhouette of something on a branch somewhere. Right?
Among the 1,200 paintings, yes.
Yeah. I'm going to say that's happening. And in fact, I think if you search silhouette painting, you're going to see a lot of stuff.
Yes.
This is not a novel concept on Etsy. So don't copy other people's art and sell it.
We found the silhouette bird on stock video.
Yeah.
So
We found a silhouette stock video. So this happens.
Yeah.
So the branch is going to be the thickest as it comes from over here. And then as these branches going to go out, they're going to get ever thinner, ever finer. If you've been struggling with trees, this is your moment. This is your space. Because what we're going to do, where did I put this brush? Is we're going to really talk about this as we go, but I want you to get a piece of scratch paper at home if this has been challenging to you.
okay.
Right? And practice with whatever brush you're going to use, thick and thin lines. Because what you want to be able to do is get a very fine line. So when I load my brush, I get a little water on my brush to create some fluidity in my paint. Right? And I'm going to plant my tree mentally, and I'm going to come over here, and I'm going to say, oh gosh, this is almost a hand width. I'm going to say my branch is having a moment.
You know, Flame's computer's having a moment, which is why she can't join us today.
I'm sorry, Flame, but we think about you all the time.
They're in channel right now talking about the woes that you're having and missing you. So you're missed.
You are missed. We have the best art community in the world on YouTube. So we're going to come up here. I'm brushing on the edge of my bristles, and I'm wandering up. And then I'm going to maybe wander down because this branch needs to be inviting. Right? As I'm coming along, right?
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to be ever lightening my pressure because this branch needs to taper out. And then I'm going to kind of finish it here. How I get my branch line to get thinner is I lighten up my pressure. Okay, now I'm going to decide the thickness of my branch, which seems to be a couple inches thick. And I'm going to grow its little woody self.
Mm-hmm.
And how I do that is I imagine the bumpliness and the texture of the wood. I'm not going to paint that texture, but I imagine it. And I'm going to join these lines together so that this branch can be thin and twig-like at the end. And then I'm going to fill all this in.
Now, if you weren't feeling confident, could you use a watercolor pencil to sketch this in?
Yeah, so the coating of the canvas can make watercolor pencil then hard. You likely have to do chalk.
So chalk, you could sketch in with chalk then.
Yeah, and Lindsay might have something that she likes to sketch in. I know my mom liked the chalk markers because you could erase them with water. I'm not sure I feel confident in that yet because I haven't done it, but there are tools. It's the plastic nature of acrylic paint that makes it hard for the watercolor pencils to draw over the acrylic.
Nope. Let's see here.
But you
Ashley,
could do it with clear gesso, not that that's relative to this.
Yeah, Ashley had a question about some of that finishing earlier. She was asking about have you or would you do a video on glazing?
Yes.
She did the dream catcher and glazing the turquoise and the feather over the black and white.
I saw her piece.
Yeah.
I saw her piece. Yeah, that is almost, she almost did a grisaille is what that's called.
Oh.
Yeah.
Well, there you
and
go,
that's
Ashley.
a traditional style of painting that you might study in like in art school. We call that a grisaille. And oil painters use that pretty religiously.
Huh.
When you see them create their pieces, you'll see fully sketched in or realized either an umber or a pencil or something, and then they glaze, paint. We call that grisaille. Montmartre Art has a really cool video on how to do grisaille with acrylic.
Oh, neat. Well,
Yeah.
so there you go.
Yeah.
Now, are we going to cover some of that video, some glazing?
Okay. Definitively, I can't even think of what we're not going to cover.
So we're going to
I
get
got
to it.
52 weeks. And well, I don't know. It's going to be total 52. It's like between now every Thursday that we can make, we'll try to make up classes. We're going to try to do one a week this whole year into the end when we do
and
our pairs.
And it's like if we've got more stuff to cover, it's not like
Yeah.
we're going to run out of Thursdays. Next
Yeah.
year, there'll be more.
Yeah.
So we'll just keep doing it if you guys want
Yeah.
more.
Yeah. But we're going to be covering all of that stuff because this is what you need to know at the art store to play. And that's what I want you guys to have is the ability to play. So I have a nice foundational branch here. Right? And I might need to get somebody sharper. Could be. Depends on
Could
what
be.
I've got going on. I don't know how my sharpness is. I may need to be going to the art store
what are you
soon. I'm
doing?
looking for sharps. It's hard to keep the sharpness on your bright.
Because you keep leaving them in cups overnight.
That would be what does it. But also they just lose it in my defense. So now here I'm going to come down. I'm going to say, I want to see something interesting happen down here. I know I have to leave some room for some birds to sit and observe the sunset. But, you know, branches are interesting business and they do weird things. So I have to break off a little branch story here. This branch must be thinner than this one, than where it's attached. To improve my fluidity, I'm going to add water. Another thing that you could do is paint with fluid paint. Like if you're doing a lot of silhouettes, I would like to suggest investing in soft body paint. Because you get more fluidity and you don't have to add any water. And you still get the pigment load. See how I'm making little twiggly bits? I'm going to come over here. Twiggly bits.
You have to get your close up on that, I think. Well, I think we need to do a branch day. Because
This
there's
is a branch day.
zoom in a little bit more.
Zoom in more.
More zoom. I want to see
Whatever they need.
Okay.
Right? See, I'm just coming here and I'm working very soft on my pressure, using my easel as a bridge. Now I can come back with a detail brush. Okay. John's going to figure out, he's going to translate what you guys are asking for into the camera because I don't think I'm having a good psychic day. I'm just telling some little branch stories. Right? And you can get as ornate and fanciful with this branch as you want. You just need to leave some space for your mama and baby bird. That'll be something I'll hear from people like, I just got excited with the tree. And then there was no place for anyone to sit.
I think Mona's making fun of me mumbling over here behind the mic. Like, I'm gonna come down.
On this little bump here, I think I'm going to take a little branch up. And here I am on the edge of the bristles of my bright. I'm wandering up, bending that little branch, having a great time. Try not to take this particular painting too seriously. Because it's one that you can do again and again and again. Like once you know how to blend an ombre from here to here, this could be any color, right?
Ombre. That's funny.
Well, that's what it is. Isn't it?
Hair fade.
It's a hair fade. But once you know how to do it, well then there's a lot of stories you can tell. You can make gifts for your friends. You could paint cards. You could paint your family in birds.
So Kim had a really interesting question here.
Okay, I have a really interesting answer.
How do you get motivated to finish a painting that you, for some reason, stopped halfway through and stepped away from?
Oh, the days when I could stop halfway through a painting. You know, it can be really challenging to stay motivated during the creative process because you can have like a mental block. Stuff can happen in your life. My friend Julia, who's a wonderful painter, had to stop painting because her family had health issues and she was just spending her life at the hospital and she had to leave a collection half done and she's having a minute just trying to get back into the collection mentally. And stuff happens to you. What I personally do is because I had some time, so I did fine art and I did advertising art because I like to eat. And I had an art agent. And what I have to promise you about your art agent is they don't care how you feel at all. Like in any way. They just want 20 of it in 15 colors yesterday. And you have to do it anyways. And so I got really good at just pushing through. And I realized that I had a painting rhythm. And for every so many paintings I did, then one would suck. I just had to finish that one and get on to the next one when they would get normal again. And I kind of got a sense of how to do daily paintings. If you can do a daily painting, that will blow up your art practice. There's nothing as empowering as a daily painting.
Well, I imagine a live daily painting.
Huh?
I imagine doing a live daily painting.
Well, that's what we could do in 2017. A live daily painting. So I am coming up here, just breaking up these branches, tell this story. Now, I have a lot of tree information in my brain because I painted a lot of trees. So I can kind of decoratively imagine a tree branch. If you're struggling with that, something that can really help you is Googling tree branch.
Yeah.
Because sometimes what you can't see, you can't paint. So if you can't see it mentally, doesn't mean you're not artistic. It just means your brain hasn't decided that was important information to store. Right? And you don't want your left brain telling your right brain what something looks like because you're going to get something crazy then. So Google it.
Yeah.
Silhouette branch birds. You're going to see beautiful. You're going to see cherry blossoms. You're going to see every kind of thing. And then you can just do that. Right? You can print out the picture. I post these on Pinterest. Right? Of these birds. And go with that.
There's even software that generates trees.
Yeah.
It's called Real Tree.
It's just awesome, right?
Or Speed Tree too now.
All right. I think I want another branch here. This is a healthy tree. Right? But this is really what trees are about. You're just telling these little stories. And this branch can be a little bit thicker because it's closer to the trunk and still attached to this thicker one.
Gotcha.
You could paint a cat right there. I'm going to paint a mama bird and a baby bird.
You could.
So I just
Or an
heard
owl?
something that blew my mind. John's been hearing me talk about it all week.
What's that?
That you always want to smile at a child. When you see a child out, you want to look at them in the face and smile at them to protect their sense that the world is a basically good place.
Yeah.
We saw this, was she a psychologist or something, or sociologist?
I think I'll have to go back and look. She was a volunteer in an arts program. I do believe she was running one of the arts programs for kids.
Wasn't that Think Tech Hawaii?
Yeah.
So on YouTube, there's something called Think Tech Hawaii that we've been totally sucked into. I have no idea why we can't get off this channel. It's for Hawaiians only. So it's really bizarre that we're watching it nonstop.
But yeah, she's got this. There was a lady who did a messaging, and she was talking about some of the homeless there, and how important it was to always smile at children, no matter what, because it protects their view of the world, that goodness is out there and that people are intrinsically good. And that was just it both really touched us, and we were like, yeah, that is really important.
Yeah.
That always need to smile at children.
And show them that the world is a good place. And then I got to thinking about it. Maybe we need to smile at each other a little more.
Yeah.
And protect our own sense that the world is a good place.
Yeah.
Because I don't think we protect our sense that the world is a good place. Like, we share terrible stuff on Facebook. Like, look, this is the worst thing I've ever seen. Just telling little branch stories. You know,
Mm-hmm.
you could have another little one go down here if you wanted to.
Yeah.
I'm gonna just, because we're just, not that I shouldn't be cooking through this, because this you could do this in 30 minutes. You really could.
Yeah.
I could probably personally paint it in about 15, 20. But, you know, just showing you guys the idea of how you place branches. The only place I'm holding is where I think these birds are going to sit. Now, once I have the bird sat, I can add some more branches.
Mm-hmm.
And I chose intentionally to do the simplest, most direct little silhouette of a bird body because I really wanted, I know a lot of you are painting with your little brushes. I know my youngest was so excited that it was a mama bird and a baby bird. She's totally convinced it's her and me.
Yeah.
So I imagine that is your experience at home too. And I painted this. Oh, I should have grabbed that. I painted this with Luna.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
I did. And to see if she could do it. She's 3. Just an average art kid. Just average, like your kid. Same thing. Are you looking for it? I think it might be on the kitchen table. So I painted it with Luna, and we had a blast. Loved doing it. She was totally able to follow along doing this process, and then she started giving me painting lessons. So I don't know if we can find it or not. No?
I'll keep an eye out.
Okay, we'll keep an eye out. So I'm going to come here, and I think the close-up camera is almost where I need it. I'm going to loosen up the thing. And so this is how we do this. This is a pretty good success, even if you don't draw, which is why there's no traceable, because I want you guys to go ahead and go for this one. I'm being kind of mean and forcing you. I'm going to make a nice little oval shape. I'm freehanding it in black paint. You could charcoal it in first if you're like, I'm not ready to just be slapping down black paint on my canvas willy-nilly. Totally cool. All right. So I'm just kind of creating this rounded bird body. I'm going to paint this in black. You see it? Okay. She added stars and all kinds of things. And I think she also added her dad to the painting. Yes. 3. Totally got the process. Was able to do the steps.
Yeah,
3.
there was no mom on the brush.
No mom, well, clearly. No mom on the brush. And she did say she wanted pink. She added some white because she wanted to experiment. And then she felt like it needed stars. And then she added dad here. But she got the point that there was some feathers down his body. So this is what I'm saying, 3. So you can actually paint with a very young child.
Yeah.
If you did not know that. I may even have Luna come on the show one time and I'll show you what that looks like to paint with somebody who's very young, because I have some survival techniques. And honestly, I think Lindsay does a lot of outreach. She could do one of these too, not to like do any programming on her channel. Yeah. But it is a different set of challenges. I'm going to come up here and make a little ball on top of my bird's head.
Yep.
This is my little bird's head. Top of my bird's head. Little bump. Little bump. This is where the head is. Beak is. You can't see the beak because they're looking straight on.
They're looking right at you.
Right?
It's a stare down. You don't know it.
You don't even know it. Now the tail is a super interesting proposition and really easy. I'm going to take a line straight down and let that lighten, and then I'm going to bring one here and bring one here. Okay, that's it for the tail. It's these little feathers. Okay.
Nice.
Nothing complicated. And then I might add a little wing bump here and a little flick. A little wing bump here and a little flick. Now, likely this is going to disappear into baby bird. But just in case you're not doing a baby bird because you're like, hey, lady, I'm not a baby bird person.
I'm just hanging out on
I'm
the
a
branch.
lone bird, being awesome in the world, feeling my strength and power. Go, lone bird.
It's like, I have sent my birds off to college, and now I get some peace and quiet on this branch.
Or I have chosen not to do baby birds, and I'm good with that.
It's true.
It's also good. Or I'm a big guy bird. There's just a lot of bird.
We have a whole
now
narrative
You've
here.
got room for another one here, and you've got room all the way out this branch. There could be daddy bird, lots of little babies. You have room here, and that's the point of this design. Now, the trick to doing the baby bird is just do all that smaller.
Yep.
Like I told you, you're going to lose your wing flick if you're doing the baby.
Doesn't have to be an atomic family.
Doesn't. Family is where your home is. That's the true meaning of Ohana. Because we've been watching too much Tank to Hawaii. What is going on with us lately? Oh, and Shannara are so sucked into that. And I pulled Angela Anderson into that.
How did you do that? Where did this come from?
How do you not know Terry Brooks? Terry Brooks is like one of the great science fiction writers of all time.
Okay.
Way before there was, a Potter to go to Hogwarts, there was Terry Brooks and stones and a sword and a post-apocalyptic world where elves and magic were back and druids.
You need to paint that. You need to put that on a canvas.
That's what Angela says, is that we've got to go bananas and do that. I'm like, oh, gosh, girl. What people don't know about Angela Anderson and myself is that we kind of geek out every once in a while.
I didn't realize there's a whole bunch of other fellow geeker outers
I
happening
think
in
Lindsay
channel.
does too. I've seen a couple of the geek flags fly over there with Lindsay. She'll say something like, I kind of watch this show, and I'm like, really? Do you? And I'm sure that Leanne from Silver Creek Studios, absolutely. Her family brings the Halloween.
Yeah.
Yeah, so for sure. As does Angela Anderson. We got to get us all together. I think if we got us all in a room, be off the chain.
So Sue was asking a question.
I did a little flick there for the wing, too.
Oh, did you?
Mm-hmm. And then I'm going to do the tail. And then, guess what, John?
What?
Painting's going to be done.
Oh, no.
Tail
Wow.
is going to be shorter than Mama's tail. Same thing,
We get to get close.
shorter than Mama's tail. See? Same thing, shorter. Look at that.
Wow.
Birds on a branch at sunset.
Is that it?
You did it. You did it. You painted this branch. It was easy. It was easy, and you painted this branch. Go check everyone else's silhouette out. Because, again, once you have this down, go bananas.
Bananas.
Bananas. B-A-N-A-N-A-S. What did Sue want to know?
Oh, she was wanting to know about a painting you're doing later. Let me go back up here and scroll up to it because we've had a
I'm happy to tell you about a painting I'm doing later.
It says, is Cinnamon doing the Valentine's picture as realistic as it is? I don't know. Are you doing it?
We're deciding.
We're deciding. The decider has not decided.
Yes, we may do it in the process like we did the dragon, where I get it to a place that you guys are feeling really good about, and then I go all the way full Raphaelite in time lapse.
Go full Raphaelite.
I'm still just stating that out of like, what is that going to be like? Because I like to make stuff that works for you guys and doesn't completely... We're going to take it to at least the place the lion and the fox was. We're going to be there on that painting for like 3 hours.
Yeah.
And I imagine that on the kiss, you're going to be there for a little bit. Angela and I are going to be like at the end of this going, romance. You should have some. Just, it's going to be a day. But I'm probably also that month going to do the Lady of Shalott and one of the other, the woman in the boat.
Oh, yeah.
I'm so dramatic. Yeah, I'm going to do her and a couple, because I just like the Raphaelites. And then, of course, my mother-in-law wants me to do Flaming June again. And I'm not really sure I feel like doing anymore, Lord Leighton.
We'll see.
We'll have to see. Because that's really, that's figure drawing. It's not like kind of some figure drawing. That's like figure drawing.
Yeah.
So it's a whole thing. I've got next Saturday a sunset that's realistic based on my dad hanging. Well, there's a bird. It's got a realistic silhouette of a bird, and it's a realistic sun in the sky with clouds.
Ooh. And there's a lot of silhouette requests coming in, but
I love silhouettes. I'm
Fabulous
happy.
Dorka, which has an awesome name.
I love her name. Yeah.
So requesting like that traditional African silhouette with like the sunset and that giraffes and maybe some elephants.
Get some of those crazy acacia trees.
You could get a meerkat and a warthog walking.
Hakuna Matata.
Yeah, I'm just saying it could be.
Don't claim my video. There was literally a period of 3 years, and I'm an adult, that everyone had to wrap my Christmas presents in Lion King paper.
It's true.
It's not even a lot.
So you just opened a can there. We'll probably see some of that happening.
Yeah,
So
definitely cover. I like doing the sunsets. I want to experiment with some of the types of sunsets we do, maybe some dawns and some different color washes. And anytime you guys want to see a silhouette painting, definitely. You're going to love the realistic suns. You've got the cowboy in this one and that one. Tuesday, we're going to go visit Bob.
Yeah.
We're going to go to Bobland.
Bobland.
And I'm going to tell you how and I can tell you how Bob paints Bob, because I feel like Bob covered that.
He has some videos out there about it.
30,000 paintings. So I feel like nobody does Bob like Bob.
Yeah, that's a pretty good way to say
And
it.
there's materials that are specialized for that.
He has his own line of paint.
He has his own line of paint and brushes that all really work really well doing Bob.
Yep.
But I'm going to tell you, as an acrylic artist, if I were to say get one of his books in a garage sale, like an image, how might I tell that story in acrylic paint? In layers.
In layers. Layers.
But we're definitely going to invoke Bob all day.
Yeah.
Tuesday.
We
and
loves
then
us some Bob.
Thursday, back to the quest.
Yep.
Ba-dum.
And then on Saturdays, we shenanigan.
Then it's back with Ian, Realistic Sunset. It's going to be interesting teaching a Realistic Sunset with Ian in the room going, what's happening?
Maybe we should revisit that. Maybe we should.
I think he's got a plan. I think he's going to
got a plan?
he's going to do a tie-in project on his channel. Should be up Monday. Off Kilter Crafter.
Ian. The off-kilter crafter.
Yes, and he is so off kilter and such a good human being.
It'd be fun having him in the studio. We love you guys.
We do
We appreciate you coming and hanging out with us.
so much.
Please, like, comment, share, subscribe, all those things that I'm supposed to ask you to do all the time that I forget about asking
That
you
you
to
guys
do.
are brilliant at.
Yeah,
you guys are brilliant.
We
at the
really
sharing.
appreciate it. And, it's thanks, guys.
See you at the easel really soon.